All right, I've already done the unofficial heartfelt bio of Imogen, so here's the official one. When she's not releasing debut novels, Imogen is also the author of the zines The Fact That Is Funny, Doesn't Make It a Joke, and Stereotype Threat. Additionally, her work has been anthologized in Topside Press's 2012 anthology of transgender fiction called The Collection. We don't have it for sale, sorry. But we can order it for you. We can get it in a week and a half from Tennessee. So, she is currently a monthly columnist in Maximum Rock and Roll and has previously written for Iolta Magazine, The Skinny, and PrettyQueer.com. She's lived in many places. So what you've all been waiting for, please give a raucous Bay Area welcome back for Imogen Binnie.
Thanks, Marlon. Do you mind if I take a picture of you for my mom? I'm serious. Good, like cover your face if you don't want to be in this, or leave and don't come back. No, I mean you're welcome to not come back. That's fine. My mom is gonna be so stoked at the fucking book release party in Manhattan. What? Thanks, Anna. I love your work, and also JDX. Y'all are amazing. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to read from this book that I wrote, but I want to talk about Pegasus for a second, because there is another notorious ex-Pegasus person named Isla. Does anyone remember Isla? On this tour, Alex, my girlfriend, and I stopped at Isla's house. Alex is right there. She's not waving anymore. We stopped at Isla's house in Santa Fe, and we were both like, man, we've been working at bookstores since we left Pegasus, and they're just, like, it hasn't been as good. Like, when we were at Pegasus, we didn't realize how fucking good we had it. It's so rad. I love Pegasus so much, and I'm so thankful for the time that I got to be here. It's truly a treasure among bookstores in the world. So can we all please clap for Pegasus? That's my first brief Pegasus thing. The second thing is an amazing coincidence that happened in Pegasus. Christine, will you come up for a sec? As I was working here, Christine and I realized, to our surprise, that we had exactly the same birthmark.
It's true.
Do you want to see them?
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. It's really unlikely that a birthmark would be 2 words. So anyway, Topside Press let me publish a novel that I made up, which is pretty exciting. And so I'm going to read from it a little bit. Thanks for coming, y'all. It's so rad. I see so many people I know. We're probably going to have, I don't even know all the people who are going to want to come to the after party where we can do it. We might have to just stay here. Can we stay here after we close? And okay, because there's a lot of really good beer that we got to drink. What? Louder?
The attic.
Oh, the attic. Yeah, y'all, there's an attic up here that I'll take you to after I read. This is from early on in the book. It's about a woman named Maria who's living in New York and working in a bookstore. Not me. She strolls back into work. Nobody noticed that she was gone, but nobody ever does. She makes a plan. Build a nest by the customer service terminals in the back of the ground floor, eat half of this bagel, help anybody who asks for it, wrap up that bagel, and then go to see if any interesting review books have come in. Cool things have probably come out since the last time she checked, maybe a week ago. She has so goddamn many books. So Maria sets up shop at a computer terminal. It is exactly everything everybody complains about when they work retail for the next half hour. People are rude, people are confused, people want her to figure out what they want for them. Whatever, she munches away. This actually doesn't bother her. Maria's retail persona is impressively unbitter. She's watched people burned out on retail be jerks to the public for a long time at this store, and it's pretty gross. Plus, this is Manhattan. Everyone is an asshole. For a while, Maria got into the revolutionary potential of being nice, but now she's kind of over that too and gets pretty zen about it, mindful. Being a dick to people who aren't being dicks first just leaves her feeling like a dick. It is a bookstore, though, so she gets like, I am looking for this book. It has a blue cover a lot. It's supposed to be the worst annoying thing you can ask a bookseller, but she's into it. People always think they know less than they actually do about a book. She can usually draw it out of them and figure it out. When did you see it? Where did you hear about it? Is it a happy book? These conversations can be almost like a moment of actual human connection, except it's a one-directional connection. Maybe, in another life, Maria will be a therapist or a social worker or something. In the middle of helping a customer figure out that she is looking for Amy Hempel, who rules, Maria realizes that she doesn't know if she's sleeping at home tonight or if Steph is or what. She makes a mental note to call Steph, so Maria is in the process of breaking up with her girlfriend Steph at this point. Hopefully, I will remember to annotate the things that need to be annotated while I read this book. All day, though, she keeps forgetting to. By the end of the night, she just wants to go home, but it's not really clear whether she can. Everybody's leaving to get wasted at the bar on St. Mark's with the cheap pitchers, which is always an option, but Maria is exhausted and not really into the idea. She's on the sidewalk outside the closed bookstore and finally taking her phone from her bag when Kieran bumps into her. My eyes are glaring cunts, he pretty much yells. My cunt, a furious eye. It's a stupid ongoing joke. Kieran heard that Maria liked Kathy Acker, so he started doing shitty Kathy Acker impressions at her, and normally she responds with shitty impressions of James Joyce, who Kieran is really into. She's supposed to say, yes, I say maybe, whatever, yes, sure, fine, yes, whatever, sure. But right now, thanks. But right now, it's not like she even wants to talk to him. It's stupid anyway. He is supposed to be this end of gender, tough punk genderqueer radical, but it's not like James Joyce was working to undermine patriarchy. Kieran will talk about all the reasons that, yes, Joyce was working to undermine patriarchy, but the actual answer is no. James Joyce was a patriarchal fuck, and dead white man worship is a function of patriarchy. Damn, y'all. All right. But fuck that conversation right now. Maria ignores him. Maybe he doesn't know that Steph told Maria they're fucking, so the reason that they're breaking up is because Steph fucked Kieran. Allegedly. Yeah, it's like that. She swings her heavy chain-link bike lock around her waist, locks it, climbs onto her bike, and rides into the street. She heads into the direction opposite her house, towards Midtown Manhattan. Obviously, you can't ride all night instead of going home. You'll get tired and bored, and obviously there is work in the morning, but she decides to ride for a while. One nice thing is that her phone's in her bag, which means if Steph calls, she won't hear it. She's kind of aware that she's making herself the bad guy here, that she's kind of acting like an asshole. Whatever, yes, sure, fine, yes, whatever, fine, sure, who cares? She rides uptown. Riding a bike in most of Manhattan at night totally rules, but riding through Midtown is awful, 24 hours a day. It's practically impossible unless you are trying to get bruised on a bumper, which is a mood she's in sometimes. A mood she might be in now, actually. Even on a Sunday night like tonight, it's pretty gnarly. It's all hills and gridlocked 18-wheelers, buses and cabs, so you have to cut between the cars. That's the best, cutting between cars. She pumps her legs up a hill and they start to hurt. She puts a hand out and thumps a taxi's side mirror. This could be the beginning of an all-night odyssey, like Eyes Wide Shut or something, but then she's over a hill. Her bike is coasting downhill, and then she's climbing another. Her legs protest, so she pulls over onto a sidewalk. A movie is actually a really good idea. It's an exhilarating feeling when you're so used to not being able to sleep, to decide ahead of time not to sleep. Like it'll feel really bad when you get properly exhausted, which will happen unromantically soon, but right now, Maria is stoked. She walks her bike 2 blocks, just off the sidewalk in the street, so she can self-righteously hog half a lane and get in the way of cars, to a theater where there's a movie playing with a monster in it. She buys a ticket, almost goes in, has the best idea, turns around, finds a bodega, buys a 40, stuffs it into her bag, and goes in the theater. Y'all are a good audience. I want to read for you every week. She can't really drink 40s anymore. Her 29-year-old sad old lady belly can't handle it, but sneaking a beer into the movies is the point, not the actual drinking. Maria sits in the middle, 3 rows from the front. There are like 2 other people in the theater because nobody sees monster movies on Sunday nights. She's been in this theater before. She saw some other stupid movie with some other stupid monster in it, some other time that she was all emotionally distressed and having a timeout from her normal life. That time, the movie had been a matinee, and afterwards she decided to sneak into a different theater and see a different movie, but then she completely chickened out when she saw a single usher. That stereotype about transsexuals being all wild and criminal and bold and outside the norm and like engendering in the townsfolk the courage to break free from the smothering constraints of conformity. That stereotype is about drag queens. Maria is transsexual and she is so meek she might disappear. She did, however, sneak a 40 into the movies. It ends up being kind of a stupid movie. If anybody has ever talked with me about movies before, you may recognize the movie I'm about to describe that Maria is seeing. It's a really important film. It ends up being kind of a stupid movie, but when we go see monster movies, we are looking for stupid. There are a lot of explosions. The monster is gross, and the plot goes like this. For 15 minutes, you're introduced to the characters, and you think, I fucking hate these yuppies. I wish a monster would kill them. And then for an hour and 15 more minutes, the monster takes its time killing them. It's annoying. It's an annoying, predictable cliche, but Maria always sympathizes with the monster. If you had a conversation with her about it, though, and you implied that there were very obvious reasons, she would flip out on you. This is not the type of insight in which she is interested. Anyway, it's late. It's like 1 a.m. by the time she gets out of the movies. Bars close at 4, and the bookstore people are certainly still drinking, but Maria is starting to feel foreshadowing in her shoulder muscles about what tomorrow is going to feel like if she doesn't get at least a little sleep. So a compromise. She buys a $5 bottle of poisonous whiskey at a little hole-in-the-wall liquor store. She sips it on her way home. Gloves with cut-off fingertips, riding past the cheap bar on St. Mark's, the permanent traffic clusterfuck at Bowery and Delancey, the Williamsburg Bridge, a navy blue sky without stars, and a beer buzz before she even started drinking whiskey. She doesn't call Steph. She doesn't even check her phone. It's like how if you don't open the official-looking envelope, it can't do anything bad to you. Plus, who knows where that phone even is in her bag? Plus, it's cold. Plus, right now, she's way too busy looking picturesque, like Batman, in this little alcove in the middle of the top of the Williamsburg Bridge, drinking her whiskey and looking at the buildings on the Manhattan side, the Brooklyn side, the Manhattan side. Which is worse? She can't decide. She likes the metal the bridge is made of, though. These enormous exposed rivets, this net-looking fence so you can't hurl yourself into the river. It strikes her that she probably kind of hates everything. She picks a fight with herself. Things she doesn't hate. Trans women who have just figured out that they are going to need to transition but don't know what to do about it, so they're super nervous but also kind of relieved. She doesn't hate trans guys who are working on the fact that they've acquired male privilege outside the queer community, but also in a weird way inside the queer community, especially in the way that their presence tends to eclipse or eliminate or invalidate that of trans women, so they're working on it and starting conversations about it and being accountable to trans women. She doesn't hate puppies. Pretty much everything on cuteoverload.com is pretty okay, actually. A hitch in her throat tells her to stop being all romantic and weird and getting trashed, Batman, so she starts riding again, more or less free-falling down the other side of the bridge, thinking about cuteoverload.com, the video where the baby panda sneezes. There are probably other things she doesn't hate. Feminist Theory, she proposes. I guess I don't hate Feminist Theory. She doesn't hate having a favorite obscure band that she keeps a secret and doesn't tell anybody about because sharing it would ruin it. That one is kind of nice. She definitely doesn't hate Piranha, her one trans friend who doesn't drive her up every fucking wall. Fuck. She's owed Piranha a phone call for like 3 days. She probably doesn't even hate Steph. Like as a couple, they're fucked. And obviously, Maria sucks at changing the things in her life that she really needs to change, such as she totally needs to break up with Steph. But for real though, Steph rules. She and Kieran, that sort of thing just kind of happens sometimes, especially in a queer relationship, right? And it's not like Maria never fucked Kieran while she was with Steph. Yeah, who would have thought? She forgot that she was making a list. She takes the little flask out of the bag and lifts it to the light. There's only about a quarter left. She thinks, wow, I am pretty lucid for a 40 and 600 milliliters of whiskey. And then she thinks, what was I thinking about? A list? And then she's at the bottom of the bridge, waiting at the weird turny corner light. Oh, Williamsburg, there was a point when you seemed like a scary, tough neighborhood, but now it's obvious that the graffiti on your walls gets put there by art students.